Hello and welcome to Andy's Cornish Creations. In this video we're going to be turning a log into a Christmas tree. Here I'm using a mortise chisel to turn a tenon on the bottom. I've got it mounted between centres at the moment and it's slightly off centre, just so that the tree finishes up off centre on the base. So I'm just turning a tenon to the correct diameter, and then I'll use my 1/2 inch skew to put a dovetail on the tenon. I have my template that I use for doing the trees. I can't mark it on the bark very well, so I've marked it on the tool rest, and that's where the base is going to be. So I can use a parting tool to define where the base is. So I'm going either side of those two lines. This one's to show the bottom of the piece, and that's the top of the base. I haven't quite got through the bark, so I'm just going a little bit deeper. I'm just putting a smaller tool rest on so I can get a bit closer. And I'll be using a 1/2 inch roughing gouge to remove the bark and to shape the tree. Just getting a rough shape of the cone. So there I've put the template on where the base is, and that mark there is going to be the first branch, and also it defines the trunk of the tree. And again, with the parting tool, I'll go in until I've got roughly the dimension of the trunk of the tree that I want. I'm going in with the parting tool there at a slight angle so that the base slopes up slightly to the trunk. It's very stringy, this wood. It's hazel, and it does seem to be very stringy, this piece. But it is a nice piece of wood, so it's worth persisting with. There I've angled the tool rest so that it helps me create a nice even flat edge to make the cone shape, and I just follow the line of the tool rest. There I'm using a 3/8 inch spindle gouge. just trying to get a better finish on the top of the base. Oh, a little reminder there to like and subscribe and ring the notification bell. And I like to make these trunks sort of round. It's not super realistic, but it just seems to work with these trees. I like the look of it anyway. So. Just move the tool rest to make it a bit easier to get in. I'm going to stretch a bit with the chisel here. It's hung over the tool rest a fair way. That's because the base there is, with it being offset, it's flying around unevenly. I can remove the tool rest for a bit. Not the tool rest, the tailstock, and now I can mark where the branches go. Nice and easy. Well, it would be if I'd got a pencil that wasn't broken. Spin it up and I can put those pencil marks on a bit better. And now I go into those lines with my 1/2 inch skew chisel, just to get a nice sharp edge on the bottom of those branches. If I do it with a parting tool, it leaves a bit of a raggedy edge, whereas I find the skew chisel needs a nice hard sharp edge on the bottom. And there I just go on with a bit of sandpaper just to smooth out that edge again. And then I can come in with the 3/8 inch spindle gouge, leaving the bottom edge of the branch a little bit rounded. You don't want any sharp edges on this. And just come in with slightly sort of scooping action. The same thing on each branch. And try and get the bottom of the branches nice and flat. here I'm using it's a thin parting tool. I'll show you in a second what it looks like. And so it's a thin parting tool, and I've just rounded, instead of it being square on the end, I've just rounded it a little bit, and it's a really handy tool to get into those little awkward, you can just see there, just rounded a little bit on the end. It's a handy tool to get into those awkward little spaces where you struggle with a spindle gouge, but that little tool does get it nicely. So yeah, there, just back to the spindle gouge to finish off a bit, and then just tidy up again with that rounded off parting tool. And that's pretty much what I wanted. So I can remove the tailstock. Not necessary anymore. I'm going to put a ball on the end. At this point I decided that the ball perhaps a little bit on the big side, so I decided to just create an extra small branch. It's not on the template, but anyhow, you don't have to work slavishly to these things. You just make it up as you're going along. Quite often gives you the best results. So that's the turning done. It's down to a bit of sanding now. I start off with a 120 grit, and I'll work down to 400 grit. So I'll carry on with the grits until I'm down to this one, which is the final grit and the 400. And there you can see I've got my abrasive paste and wood wax. So I'll get the abrasive paste first. Get some on the piece. Running about 500 there, and I'll turn the speed up to about 1,000 and working that paste. You can see already it's starting to give it a bit of a shine. If you haven't used any abrasive paste before, I would recommend it. It does really make it easier to get a good shine on the piece. I'm using a rag there, but I'm always careful just to keep a light hold on it. And if it does snag on the piece, it will just come out of my hands. It's much safer with a paper towel, but I do like a rag to do these things. But I'm just removing the excess wax from the piece there, and now I'm applying some of the wood wax. I do have a couple of videos showing how to make the abrasive paste and wood wax. If you want to check it out, just have a look at some of my older videos. Another reminder there to give it the thumbs up. So I turn the speed up again to 1,000 or 1,200 and get a bit of heat into that when applying the wax. It helps to melt the wax and give it a lovely shine. So just remove any excess wax now. And as I said before, I do like to use a cloth, so I finished off with a a little piece of cloth. And the only thing left, there's a lovely shine on that, and it's a lovely piece of wood as well. The only thing left to do is to do something with the bark, and I decided to use a bit of Howard's Feed and Wax. I just squirted a bit onto the bedways, and I'll dab it onto the bark and try and get it into all those nooks and crannies, and it darkens up the wood and helps to protect it a little bit. Waste not, want not. Put a bit on the bedways. So I got a bit of paper towel, and just give it a little buff on the bark. And now all that's left to do is to part off the bottom. I've just gone in a little bit with the spindle gouge, just to get a nice clean edge. Again, the parting tool tends to leave a bit of a raggedy edge, so I like to go in with either a skew or a spindle gouge. But now I can go in with the parting tool, and I'm slightly going in at an angle and undercutting the base so that it leaves it hollow, and it'll sit down nicely on the surface. So now I've got hold of it with one hand and going through with the skew with the parting tool until it parts off. So there we have it. I know it's another Christmas tree, but it'll be December at the end of next week, and these are very popular at this time of year. And this is a really nice one. It's a piece of hazel. Nearly forgot. A piece of hazel, and it's just a log, 3-inch diameter, slightly over 3 inch that way, and it measures 5.5 inches in height. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this was someone had requested the sizes in Imperial of the Christmas tree. Of course, you can make it whatever you like. If you've got a piece of wood that's smaller than this, then make it a bit smaller. As long as you get the overall look of the thing to be similar, it doesn't really matter about the sizes. But I've done a little template, and I've got a little video out that's just showing the sizes, and I'm going to explain the sizes on that video, and you can check it out on that. But yeah, well, actually it's that way around. Holding the wrong way around, I don't know if you can see that, but that's the height. It's on the template, and I've got all the sizes written down, so I'll let you know those. And I have slightly offset it, which I like to do, from the centre of the log, so that it's just slightly offset, which makes it a little bit more interesting than being bang in the centre. And yeah, it's a lovely piece of wood. Hopefully it'll show up on the pictures that I take at the end. And yeah, another really simple turn that's really effective if you've got a nice piece of wood. If it's a plain piece of wood, you can always do some embellishment on it or colouring, which is nice to do, and good fun. But yeah, nice simple project, and the other video will show you the sizes, so check that out. But anyway, from very cold, we've had our first sort of heavy frost yesterday, and it's a bit milder, but with the mild weather comes the water. So it's been a bit wet today, a heavy drizzle, but it's okay here in the workshop. And so hopefully you liked the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I think it's that way around, and share if you can. If you haven't subscribed, if you could, that'd be great. The numbers are really good at the moment. And ring the notification bell, because that will let you know when the next video is about to be released, or it has been released even. And please do leave a comment. I do read through all the comments, and I reply to as many as I can. So, from here in Cornwall, my name's Andy Paramore. This is Andy's Cornish Creations, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye. If you made it this far, well done, and thanks for sticking around to the end. Goodbye.